I'm going to show you a method of long multiplication which is such a good way to help your child break things down into smaller parts. Before I do that, I'd like you to consider this as a multiplication question which we might come across in everyday life. Now, for most of us, we'd probably try and break this down a little bit more into a 20 and a 1, and that's what that represents. That's not a 2, it's a 20, and that's a 1. So these component parts, 20 and 1, 1 times the 5, we simply work out first, giving us 5. Then the 20 times the 5, which is equal to 100. And the addition of the two parts gives us our final answer. And it's this type of principle which is just such a good way to help your child understand long multiplication. So if we take 468, that will contain 400, a 60, and an 8. And the following method should adapt this a little bit further. This method of long multiplication again should help your child understand place value. It's a bit of a sticking point for children, long multiplication, but hopefully this method should help them just that little bit more. I'm going to break each of these down into their component parts using a grid method. I need to remember that that is not a 2, it is a 20. My units in that part of the question, 5. I'm going to do the same with the 34. That is 30, and that is 4. And all I simply do is now multiply each of these in turn to get my 4 numbers here. I always start with the easiest, with the units. 5 times 4, well, I know that that is 20. Now it starts to get a little bit more tricky. I'm now going to do 4 lots of 20. Well, I'm going to double it and double it again to give me 80. Now I'm going to do 5 times the 30. Indeed, you can do 5 times 3 is 15. Now you need to avoid telling your child to add a 0 because that actually doesn't mean anything. The 0 here means that it should be 10 times bigger. So I'm going to make that number 10 times bigger. Apply the same principle to this. 2 times the 3 I know is 6. This 0 is going to make it 10 times bigger, not add a 0. This 0 makes it 10 times bigger again. So I've now got all my parts to add up. I'm going to use the addition method before. I'm going to do 600 plus the 150 plus the 80 and finally the 20. Again, it can be done from left to right. I'm going to start with the hundreds. This is 600 plus 100, giving me 700. This is a bit more tricky. I would probably just look at this for a few seconds to say, right, but it's easy to do the 20 plus the 80 gives me 100, plus another 50 gives me 150. Apply the same method again to give me 700, 100 more is 800, and then I've got my 50. That is my final answer. I hope that helps.